Well, welcome everybody. And as was listed, we'll focus today on the body scan. And it's a little anecdotal, but about 3 or 4 months ago, I had been so busy I hadn't really been able to do much research. And I was going, man, I need to get some fresh research. I need to look at what's going on out there. So recently, in the last month or so, I've been inundated with new research, which is great. And one of the things I ran across was interoception. I'll put that in the chat here. Right. And a gal I went to a conference with is a professor, an assistant professor in health and wellness and stuff, and we started talking about interoception. She's done some studies in interoception. And interoception simply is the ability to sense what is going on inside. And it's a functional awareness of I'm admitting people. So that, it's like when we move from diapers to being potty trained. That's interoception. When we're feeling something is out of place, or we have we have something going on in our gut or whatever, then it's interoception as well. Getting a sense of what's going on, just being present with what's going on in our body, basically. And there's been some wonderful studies done on yoga and interoception. And one of the reasons why I'm doing it today is because in their study, in research studies on interoception, they're finding out that it's a great relevance for clinical application of particularly depression and anxiety, and just maintaining a healthy balance, also emotional balance. And that when our interoception is high, then our sort of self-centeredness is low. And with interoception, there's a general higher level of sense of well-being, quality of life. So, I think we always knew. If we were asked, what does insight and physical well-being, what does that entail? We'd say something that would amount to interoception. But being aware of what goes on in the body, and what I've noticed clinically is that people, when we are, not only others, but any time that we're off thinking about something else, whether thinking about our problems or trying to solve this problem or that problem, or we're worrying about something in the past, we're really not 100% in our physical body. There's a landmark study that I've mentioned before called the Killingsworth study, and they did it through an app, and it was a really eloquent research study, construction. Anyway, they had an app, and there were 3 questions. One is, are you paying attention to what's right in front of you at the moment? Yes or no? And then the second question was, please select from one of the 22 other things that you were doing. There was a list of 22 things that the individual could select from. And then the third one was, please rate your sense of well-being at the moment. So they had, and this was thousands of people, right? So what they found was that 46.7% of the people at any given time were not paying attention to what they were doing. Their mind was off somewhere else. And when the mind is off somewhere else, we're really not that aware of what's going on in our physical body. And I see this a lot with patients, and particularly where dissociation is there, and trauma, physical trauma, emotional trauma. One of the defenses against emotional trauma is simply to not be in the body as much. And that has pretty negative outcomes in and of itself. So actually being in our body and developing this sense of interoception, that's one of the reasons why yoga is so helpful for trauma, because it helps people get in their body and in a friendly and compassionate manner. I've seen some really difficult cases of trauma begin to resolve with yoga. And it has to be done skillfully, and the yoga instructor needs to be well versed in trauma-informed yoga, but it can be very helpful. So the rest of us, to some degree, are in improving our interoception can generally have a positive impact on our life. And so it struck me that the body scan, which is well known and well practiced, it's considered to be both a mindfulness and a self-compassion practice, does exactly that. The original, the body scan came out of the mindfulness milieu, I guess you can call it, a mindfulness school, and that it as a way of bringing in the MBSR program, the 8-week program, mindfulness is first introduced as a through a meditative practice, but then each of the senses are engaged through taste, touch, sound, smell, appreciation, visual, and through the body scan. So the body scan was a way of further extending mindfulness throughout the rest of our being, through the physical body. And it does a really good job of that. And so we have really two body scans. We're only going to do one today. One is a mindfulness body scan, and the other is a self-compassion body scan. And really the mindfulness body scan, which is bringing that space between stimulus and response and just observing, and bringing that to bear on the situation to really extend our awareness to the rest of our physical body. And on the one hand, just meditating or just doing a meditation is an act of compassion, and just doing a body scan and bringing the awareness into the physical body is an act of compassion. So even though the emphasis that we'll be doing today is a mindfulness body scan, it really brings with it the implicit compassion. And next week we're going to be doing a body scan with self-compassion. And so we'll get to see clearly what the difference is and how they relate to each other. So this is typically done lying down. So if you want to lie down, that's perfectly fine. And if you are lying down, there's a little trick. I don't know about you, but as soon as I'm lying down, I want to go to sleep. So there's if you're lying down, if you put your elbow on the floor and put your hand perpendicular to the floor in the air, when you're awake, you can hold. It just takes a little bit of energy to hold the hand up, but as soon as you begin to falling asleep, the hand will drop and will wake you back up. I found that very helpful. So let's begin. So finding a comfortable spot, whatever it is, lying down or sitting is fine. Body scan can be done in any position, really. So settling into that spot, whatever it is. And settling down. And we'll begin. And following the sound of the bell into silence, into stillness. And just settling down into the body as a whole, getting a sense of the weight of the body, though the body may feel light. And sometimes the body feels light and heavy at the same time. But just getting a sense of more fully inhabiting the body. And leaving the body in a receptive mode. Allowing ourselves to be as receptive as we can. And first bringing our awareness to the big toe on the left foot. And simply just being aware. As if you were walking through a field and saw a flower you'd never seen before. Perhaps you've never thought of your toe in this manner. Or if you have before, maybe not quite in exactly this same way. Just observing. Observing what's there. Perhaps noticing shape, size, temperature. Simply getting the idea, settling into the idea of the big toe. And as we allow our awareness to rest there, extending our awareness to the other toes. And getting a sense of each of them individually and together. And just perhaps with a sense of wonder, just that they're a mere presence. And how still they seem at the moment, and how still they can be. And again, extending our awareness while maintaining the awareness of the toes and the big toe, extending that awareness to the foot as a whole, the sole of the foot and the top of the foot, the heel and the ankle. How the toes protrude off of the foot, and how the heel grounds it all. And again, just sensing what's there. Is there a sense of solidity or spaciousness? Is there a tingling, or is there just silence? And extending the awareness again up to the ankle. And getting a sense of the work that this ankle has to do when walking or running, standing up or sitting down. And getting a sense of what's there, simply what you find. Simply observing. And again, further extending our awareness from the big toe, the toes, the foot, the ankle, up to the lower leg, the calf and the shin. Perhaps seeing it also connected. And simply observing what's there. Noticing the muscle, perhaps the connective tissue, the fascia, and that long bone of the shin. And extending to the knee, bringing the knee into our awareness as well. Just observing what goes on there at the moment. Noticing if there's any discomfort or the absence of discomfort. And further allowing our awareness to continue moving up into the thigh, the upper leg. Getting a sense of the muscle, the size of the muscle, and any comfort or discomfort, temperature, any sensations. Do the sensations change with observation? Are we able to bring it to mind fully, or is it vague? Getting a sense of the whole leg, each playing its own part. And while maintaining awareness of the left foot, toes, ankle, lower leg, knee and thigh, bringing to mind the big toe on the right foot. And just noticing what's there also. Does it feel the same as the big toe on the left foot? Or is it different? Is it warmer or cooler, more or less comfortable? Perhaps even sensing the bones themselves. And extending our awareness, our mindful attention to the toes, the rest of the toes. And observing what may be there also. Just being mindfully with the toes. And extending that awareness to the foot as a whole, the sole and the top of the foot, and the heel. Perhaps noticing how they seem separate and one at the same time. Perhaps noticing the weight of the foot on the heel. And allowing our awareness to come up through the ankle, Is this ankle the same as the other ankle? Not quite. Just observing it in whatever detail seems to fit. And continuing to bring this awareness from the toes and the foot and the ankle up into the calf, the lower leg, the muscle, the bone. And getting a sense of its connection with everything else. And continuing to bring our awareness up into the knee. Getting a sense of the knee as a whole. Perhaps even sensing all the parts, even in their stillness. Just observing in this space of mindfulness. And continuing to extend the awareness into the thigh. Perhaps sensing the size and weight of the muscle, the bones. And bringing the awareness from both thighs up into the hips. And allowing things just to be as they are. If there's any difficulties with this area, just do the best you can. But we're just bringing a mindful awareness just to check in with the interior of the body. And continuing to extend awareness to the buttocks. Our padding wherever we sit, and what you sense at the moment. Releasing any tension there may be. But just getting a read on what that environment is like. And continuing to extend the awareness to the back, the lower back, the middle and upper back, the spine. And allowing oneself just to be present. And observe whatever's there. And if thoughts or emotions arise at any point, simply recognizing them and releasing them. And returning to the mindful awareness. And now extending the awareness with the hips up into the belly and the torso and all the organs. Just being aware, a gentle, mindful recognition. And just observing whatever it is you observe. Being with that part of your body. And perhaps getting a sense of all the functions that go on in the torso. And what might be going on right now, including the lungs. And continuing to extend the awareness from the toes, from the foot, the ankle, the calf, the thigh, the hips, the back, the torso, up into the shoulders. And noticing perhaps posture or whatever is present. And bringing our awareness to the thumbs on the right and the left, and the fingers. Are both fingers on both hands, the same temperature? Are they the same or a different position? And extending that awareness up into the palms of the hands. And extending into the wrist, from the fingers, the palm to the wrist. Allowing the body just to be, allowing us to observe. And from the wrists up into the lower arm. Perhaps seeing the muscle, the fascia, the bones, temperature, whatever is there. And further extending up into the elbow. Gaining an idea of the elbows themselves. And further up into the upper arm, both sides, right and left, from the thumb, the fingers, the wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, connecting with the shoulders. And moving our awareness further, extending up into the neck, the front and back of the neck. Perhaps sensing inside the throat as well. But turning the light of our awareness on there. And seeing what sort of detail you might be able to perceive. What does it feel like to swallow? Or the breath moving through, in and out of the throat. And extending awareness up into the jaw, where most of us hold tension. And if there is, seeing if you can just let the tension be and drain as we continue with the mindful observation. And if you sense tension, allowing it to relax. Extending the awareness through the jaw, perhaps the teeth, the tongue, mouth, the lips. and up to the nose, our cheekbones. And notice any sensations with the nose, with the air moving in and out. Perhaps even getting a sense of the sinuses deeper in the skull. And further extending our awareness into the eyes, the eyeballs. And observing the eyeballs and the lids and the areas around the eye. And continuing to expand to the ears, including the ears in the fullness of our mindful awareness of the body. And now to the skull and the brain. Just observing this region, complexity. To the skull and the scalp. The back of the head, the upper part of the neck, where it all connects. And now observing as best you can the whole body, from the big toe and the toes, the feet, the ankles, calves, knees, thighs, pelvis, belly, buttocks, back, torso, organs, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, and all the regions of the head. Seeing if you can observe that all at once. And allowing ourselves to rest in this space between stimulus and response, just to observe, get a sense of all the parts as well as the whole body. Observing with equanimity and acceptance. And perhaps get a sense of all the parts and the whole, and the sense of just being. And allowing this vision or feeling or however it comes to you, allowing that to settle into the body, to ground into the body. Absorb, savoring. Recording the fullness of the journey and the presence of awareness in every detail, the whole and its parts. So that in a moment when the bell rings again, you can bring this with you as you go about your day and come back to it at any time.